Yeah.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I have a few few mistakes in my presentation. So I want to say sorry for everyone, including that I'm using the old logo of Taphome. Next time I will fix it. Sorry, Samo.
Yeah. No problem. No problem.
Okay. So I don't want to talk a lot about Essensia. Usually, that's what I do in VMAR, but I think everyone knows here about Essensia. So just to let you know that our vision to be the largest distributor, and we are aiming for that, to be provider of all kind of building automation solutions in the market. That's our aim. That's why we are trying to find you guys all the best brands out there, including Taphome, which we're going to talk about a little bit. So let's talk about Taphome. Taphome is a Slovakian building automation manufacturer. They started in 2012, and the founder, they came from a 10 years experience in CIGIC. I think everyone here knows CIGIC, the big GPS solution and maps in the mobile. Back then, in the Nokia, in Nokia era, CIGIC was the leading of GPS automation solution. Anyways, the founders, they been working. I think they are also partners in CIGIC for 10 years with it. They leave and they started Taphome. They started with the aim to ease the programming and installation of building automation solution. That's, of course, the main reason for Taphome. Make automation easy. That's what we want. Make programming easy. Make the installer life easy. Okay, and they started that with the smart rules interface. So they start with an interface, a unique interface that make it easy for all of the users. The basic idea in the beginning was to make an interface for all kind of different protocol and different solution back then in the market. In 2013, they introduced their own core. So the interface was there before the protocol or Taphome protocol, correct?
Yes, perfectly correct. Exactly. So that's the story. We thought we would do a software platform because the assumption was that there is a lot of input-output hardware on the market, but then we realized that the existing hardware portfolio is not 100% suitable. It's not in many cases, not ideal for the use case. And then we, in 2014, end of 2014, we started doing our own hardware as well. So now we are fully vertically integrated. We have our own software, own hardware, a full solution. Yeah, that's
yeah,
correct.
yeah. So what my point is that the interface was introduced before your protocol. So that's mean the interface was built to work with different kind of protocol out there in the market. Your first core unit has been introduced in 2013, and with your core unit, your protocol came, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so let's move forward. So in 2014, more hardware has been introduced. In 2015, that's means 3 years only after the company started, you have your largest project with 750 apartment with Taphome. In 2017, Essensia came to the picture.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's like a few things about Taphome, how they started, where we are now. I'm just gonna, the reason of all of you guys here is to focus about the advantages of Taphome, why using of Taphome. And I have a very, very big surprise for all of you at the last slide. You will love that slide. I will show you, and by that slide, you know exactly why Taphome. So anyways, advantage of Taphome against, let's say, classic solutions. It's easy to install the hardware. It's an amazing interface for easy installation and programming. Like we said, the main reason for the company to start is for make it easy for the user and installer to install and do the. It's an economical solution for small and large installation, and you will see how it's economical, how much is it cheaper than what we have in the market. We focus and Taphome, they focus on the core hardware. That's mean we don't care about the keypad, we don't care about the screen on the walls, all this cosmetic luxury stuff, put it on the side. Let's consider and believe and think about the core items that what we need to make this building run. That's the focus. It's simple and basic. The amazing thing is the cloud installation. So whenever you have a program and you have a software installed, it's been stored on the cloud. That's mean, what does that mean for you as an installer? I will show you later. It will make it easy for you to monitor your installation, to program your installation, to make maintenance. Am I right, Samo?
Yeah, it's perfectly okay. So I would just add that the system is not cloud-based. It runs in local network, and if there is no internet connectivity or something, or maybe if it is a use case where it is not allowed to connect the property to internet, then it's no problem for the system. It is running locally, but the cloud backend is included in the system, and if there is internet connection in the property, then it makes the whole management of the property much easier, because cloud makes the remote connection super easy and super secure as well. And then facility managers and owners of the buildings can easily see what's going on, what's the energy consumption, what's the system status, and so on. So the cloud backend is not required by the system, but it is a very good add-on. And it makes use of the system much better.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea behind it. So overall, it's a lower installation time for a maximum margin for installers, and that's what we want to focus for you guys as installers. That maximize your margin and with the less efforts. So here we have a small overview layout of how Taphome work. First of all, here we have the main distribution box. As you can see here, you have the core unit, and then you have the interface and the other interfaces for Modbus, etc. All this the core unit is connected with the LAN to the internet to our Taphome cloud. By the way, Samo, Taphome cloud is free of charge, right?
Yes, it's free. So we as a company pay for that, but the incremental cost for every new customer is very low, so we don't charge for that. It's free.
No subscription, no one-time fees, nothing. It's just the hardware.
No, nothing. No. Because there is, the point is that the cost for running cloud for us is very small, because the core unit runs locally. It's a computer and it does all the job locally, and it only mirrors data into the cloud. It's the application is not running in the cloud. It's just a mirror for data, a tunnel. So for that reason, the cost for us to run the cloud is very small, and it doesn't make sense to charge for that. It's not a business plan for us at all. It's free.
Okay, that's great. So as a core unit, it's connected to the internet. That means it's connected to the Taphome cloud, and all of the tablet, iOS, Android smartphone, everything is connected to that cloud, including the installers. So the installers, he can see the individual installation that he made in one account, right?
Yes, exactly. So any number of projects you have, you can easily switch between them. So you log into the application once, and then in the application you can see all your projects.
Great, and I will show that application later on here. I'm just gonna focus. So from one side, we are connected to the internet here, as I said, to the cloud, and from the other side, we are connected to the Taphome bus to the first apartment. The main thing that you will find here that we don't have screens or keypad in that sense. But what we have here is the something we call the 24 UI, is the interface where you connect your let's say the motion sensor, the keypads, the sensors, everything you have it will be by the 24 UI. The 12 do is usually is for the outputs. So the beautiful thing about this, and I'm going to talk about it later by the way, is that 12 do you don't have a relay for lights and a relay for AC, another relay for something else. It's just a relay. You program it the way you want. You want to connect a curtain, you want to connect an AC, you want to connect a light. They are all come with the same device. Am I right, Samo?
Yes, exactly. So that's the general approach we have in hardware, that we try to make it as universal as possible. Because if you have input-output devices which are only aimed at one type of use, then you end up in an installation with modules which are not being totally used, not 100% used, and that increases the cost a lot. So we try to do as universal as possible, and then all possible inputs and outputs can be used in the installation, and that drives the cost down.
So that will drive our cost down, is to maintain and, let's say, value engineer our system.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Moving, so last thing that we have is the input for the push buttons and thermostat and sensors. Now, as we are discussing for the 12 do is the same thing with the input, the 24 UI. The 24 UI, you can use it for multiple things. As I said, the push buttons, I think you can use it also for the the temperature sensor, right, Samo? Is it NTS?
Yes. That's also temperature. Yes, it's really universal. So you can connect basically anything, also analog input, push button input, anything. Yeah.
So it's like a value engineering to the high limit of it. You don't need an input for the thermostat, another input for impulse counter, another input for 0 to 10 voltage. Each one will have a different device. One device can do all of that.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm going to talk about this in details. Now I'm going to show you the layout in general, because the big picture, so I make it slide like this. Anyways, so here you have your cloud with the facility Taphome managers. Here you have the apartment one connected to the Taphome bus. And you notice that you have all the inputs, including the air ventilation, energy metering. Again, you have your apartment two here with the same thing. And you can imagine this happening onto, let's say, 1,000 apartment, 3,000 apartment. It's up to you. You can imagine how big you can go. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So on the control unit on core, we have 3 bus terminals, and they are each 32 bus modules, and each of them, let's say, has 12 outputs, 24 inputs, whatever. It means that you can make a huge installation. Of course, we recommend partners to split it up in a way so there is some level of decentralization, but the system is really robust. So if you have a type of installation with many IOs, inputs, outputs, then the system can handle that.
Okay, so I'm going to start now talking about the devices. The first and the most important device here is the core. The core, it's the, let's say, the control unit of Taphome. It's a cloud connected with, as we said, through the LAN network, as you see in the previous layout. It's a Linux computer. That means it has an operating system and it does its own logic. It has a lot of power. So it also have 3 input for the bus, 3 input of the bus. Each bus can handle 32 devices. So in our example here, we have a 3 bus times 32 bus modules. We came up with a 24 input. You can exceed it up to 2,304 inputs. And how many core you have you can use in one setup, Samo?
A good question. Honestly, we don't know what's the limit. In the projects we had in the past, we were able to connect as many cores as we needed. The important information about this is that the limitation would not be on our system side, but each control unit is a network device. So the question is, how robust is the local network? How many IP devices can be placed in one local network? That's the question. We did not hit the limit, but maybe in some massive buildings, it may be necessary to split it up into multiple networks, which we can then connect together.
So let's say that the sky is the limit.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So of course, because Taphome started as a solution for all different technologies to come together, to work together, we have the Modbus connection, and we have also RS485 devices that can be connected directly to the core. You don't need a gateway. You don't need to buy a separate device to connect to this. If you have Modbus or RS485 devices, you connect it directly to the core. The same core will have two NTC temperature sensor inputs. So if you have a small setup where you have only two sensors, you can use the core one. You don't need to add additional input devices. It also have 4 digital input for switch, and the price, by the way, all the prices that I'm mentioning here, it's the public price. It's not the installer price. It's not discounted. This price is for the public, for your customer. So you can imagine 180 BD for all of this. So I think later on, when I do some calculation, you will be surprised. Every one of you here will be surprised of the price and how this things goes. So this is the core, a picture of it. As you can see here, you have bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, and I think Samo, bus 2 and bus 3, both of them can be used for Taphome or Modbus, right?
Exactly. Each of them is universal. So it's internal bus, it's Modbus, it's RS485. So whatever you need, you can connect there.
So any Taphome bus, Modbus, bus, and RS485 bus, all of them can be connected to any of these terminals. Each one of these terminals is 32 devices, the maximum. Then here you have outputs. So let's say you have 4 relays here, and here you have 4 inputs, and here you have a temperature sensor, and here's the LAN network. Samo, honestly, this device is a whole network, and I can build a whole solution based on this device only.
Yes, exactly. So the computer is inside, and when it comes to system performance, how responsive the system is. Imagine you press a light switch and you want to trigger a lighting scene in let's say 100 lights. Then the question is, how fast is the algorithm for in the configuration, in the automation engine, and we are in a comfortable situation because the Linux computers, they are a fashion thing right now, and they develop very fast. So each year we are getting a new computer with higher performance. So it's we are just watching how the performance goes up and up. So we have no issues with system responsiveness. Again, there would be some limit, of course, but in those projects which we had. It isn't the case. In one installation, it is a project for elderly people. It's apartments for them.
Yeah.
And we have 500 automation plugins running on one control unit. 500 automation scenarios, and the system is responsive. Yeah. So
in one core,
again, there would be some limit, but we don't know where it is. Yeah.
So 500 devices in one core unit, and the system is very fast.
Not devices. Not devices. It's smart rules. It's that the automation actions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So smart rules, algorithms, if-then statements, something like this.
Yes. So it's with each event, like a button press or push button press, the system needs to evaluate the whole tree of all automation actions. And in a massive installation with 500 of them, the system is still responsive. So again, I'm not saying that this can go indefinitely, but we did not hit the limit yet.
Okay, that's good. So this is an example here for a small installation with a motion sensor. As you can notice, the motion sensor is sharing the power, and at the same time it's connected to the input within the same device. So we can imagine that with the output as well, etc. Moving on to the next device, we have the 12-do, which we discussed a little earlier. This 12-do, it has 12 X, that's mean 12 relays, 12 output. Each one is 16 ampere output. So that's mean this 12-do can be connected to a 16 different, the 12 different light circuit. You can connect a heater, you can connect a water pump, you can connect AC, anything you want. It's a free. Maximum total load of 11 kilowatt, which is amazing. It has a standalone switch output. It's also, by the way, it has an AC motor with internal blocking of both outputs. That's mean if I connect a curtain to two inputs, Samo, if I connect a curtain, for example, the up to relay 1 and the down to relay 2, and then I program these two relays as a motor or curtain. So whenever, your system will block one relay to work when the other relay is working, right?
Yes, exactly. So in the 12 digital output module, if you choose the configuration, the two outputs shall be combined as a motor controller. Then the protection is running not on the level of the unit, but it is one level lower. It is running directly in the microchip of this module. So whatever is happening with the installation, it never can happen that both relays go on. It's protected on the low.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Samo. Especially that in other solution, other product, you need to buy a special product for motors to take this kind of security advantages. But in here we can.
Yeah, you know why they want to make more money. So
yeah, of course. Of course, everyone is looking to make more money. But here we have one device that can do whatever we want. Anything that we want to work as a relay, we can configure it to do that, right? And the price is very cheap. It's 100 BD for public prices. This is a picture of 12-do. As you can see here, guys, we have input, okay, 1, 2. You can imagine. You can connect anything you want here, like we said. And here you have the bus connection, and you have the power at the same time. Let me delete this so we can move on to the next one. I think I have another picture that will show how one of the here you have two motors connected, like what just said now. We have motor 1, motor 2. Motor 1 is connected to output 8 and 9, and motor 2 is connected to output 10 and 11. And other inputs can be used for light, etc. Here we have some AC units connected. AC split unit with a dry windows contact to turn off the AC whenever the door is open. So this is the 12-do, the main device that we have after the core. The next device, I think it's not existed in any other manufacturer, is the 12 LED free relay output 16 ampere. It can we talk a little bit about this, Samo?
Yeah, sorry, it's not 16 ampere. It doesn't have relays in it. The OC LED.
Sorry,
OC.
That's the problem. That mistake that I made. It still have the old writing from the previous slide. I'm sorry for this mistake, guys.
No problem. So it is an output module, that's correct, but this one does not have relays built inside it. So it has, again, it is universal. It has it can do two different jobs. One is dimming of LED lights. That's one thing. So it's a dimmer module. But at the same time, each output can be configured to be open collector, low voltage output. And this makes sense when you need to control performance of some device. Let's take, if you have some well, heating. Heating is not a good example maybe in your area, but
Yeah.
I give that. So if you have a heating device where you need not just on off a relay, but you want to set its the PID regulated
I think the sound has a problem. I'm sorry, Samo, but your voice is having a problem. So again, guys, I'm sorry for this mistake in this device. Sorry, Samo, but your voice has gone very far away. I hope my voice is not disconnected. Anas,
yes, I can hear you well.
Anas, can you hear me now? Because Anas is saying that the sound is not working. Okay, so I think the problem from your side, Samo. Anyways, this is a dimmer. That's what I was so excited about. But when I read 16 ampere, I was confused because it's my mistake. So again,
yes.
The amazing thing about this, that most of our building automation that we have right now here in the area, they like dimmers. Everyone here like dimmers. So previously, we have to buy one device dimmer per circuit. Some companies, they can provide 4-channel, but the 12-channel dimmers, especially when you are using LED strip, when you're using RGB lights, we can use this for RGB light, right?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So
this is the reason actually for RGB light we need many channels, and we built a module with many channels. Yeah.
So 130 BD for 12 dimmers, or I think that's an amazing amazing thing. I will fix this presentation later on. So this is the device here. We have the 12 LED device, and sorry, I don't have a graphic for it. Next time, maybe in my follow-up email, I will send it. Next on is the 24 UI. See, same problem happened here. I have the LED OC output still from the previous slide. Anyway, so we have a 24 UI module, which means it's a 24 input in one device, right? So 24 input in one device. It has an NTC temperature input, so you can connect temperature sensors, you can connect push buttons, you can connect impulse counters, especially for energy, etc. Like this. Am I right, Samo?
Yes, yes. So it's universal. It's temperature, push buttons, motion sensors, electric meters, and analog output sensors. Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing with other devices where you don't need to buy a separate device for different things. Everything is universal here. I need an input. I don't need to think about what kind of input I need. I will just buy a 24 UI and I'm sure it will work.
Yes.
Same thing for the output. I need an output. Well, what I want it for? Is it a motor? Is it a light? Is it the AC? I don't care. Just buy the 12.2 and it will work with me. So even it will make it less headache for the design, it will make a less headache for your single line diagram. It will make a small BOQ. You don't have 9,000 items in one installation. You don't have a complicated drawings. You need this device in this area and this device in this area, and you cannot mix and match. No. Here, it's a straightforward. It's the same device everywhere, almost. This is the device here. This is an example how to connect a push button. So if you want a push button, that means if you need a keypad to turn on, turn off the light, etc., you have that push button here. For motor, it's another example here. Here, another example to connect a motion sensor to the same device. And there's a lot of examples that will show you all different of inputs. Now, moving on to the devices that most of the installers love, the devices that you can put inside the back box. What I mean by this, that most of the installers here, they ask about, what about existing houses? What about existing buildings? I cannot rerun all the wire cables. I cannot do that. So we have here a small devices that can fit inside the back box and will do everything for you. So this is one example of it. It's 2NTC 4 input module. For example, if you have a keypad, and this keypad is on the wall, and you cannot run the cable all the way to your control panel or smart panel or whatever you want to call it, you can put this device inside the back box behind the push button, connect a temperature sensor on it, connect a motion sensor, whatever you want to connect to it, connect it, and then one bus cable will go from this device to the Taphome network. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah, it's exactly like you said. It's about wiring, about cables. If you want to run cables in the star topology, that's the previous modules. If you want to run them in a daisy chain, less cables, existing buildings, then it's these modules, the small ones. Yes.
Amazing price. Honestly, amazing prices, Samo. Yeah, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. It's an amazing thing, especially for public.
I think I will raise. Sorry, I think I will raise the pricing because you say too often.
No, don't do that, please. Keep it the same. We are happy with the pricing, actually. Another example here is the 24. Okay, we'll talk about Mr. Abdulkarim is asking about how we can do the wire and connection. We'll go back to that later on, inshallah. So here the devices, we have another one which can fit in the back box. This one have 2 relays inside it, right?
Yes.
So it can connect 2 lights. So for example, you have 2 switches on your wall, and your customer cannot rerun the wire from his room and take it to the panel. So the relay will be in your back box. That will make it also another easier way to control or to do your installation. It has also temperature sensor. It has also input. So I think with this device, Samo, you can easily remove the conventional switch and put this device.
Yes, that's the purpose, exactly.
Okay, so, and also you can connect a CO2 or humidity sensor, etc. on it. This is an example of the device that we showed earlier. Mr. Abdulkarim, he asked about the connection. I'm showing here some kind of connection drawings. As you can see here, the relays are connected to a curtain for up and down. So we have 2 relays connected for up and down, and then you have 2 input connected to the push buttons. So right away, you can have your motor control from within the same back box in your wall.
Yes.
Finally, by the way, I'm not talking about all devices of Taphome. I'm just picking the most important devices that I think the installers will care about. But there is a lot of devices that you can find it in the website, and maybe I can share a device list later on with you to your email. So the last device here that I'm going to talk about is the multi-zone controllers. As I said earlier, that Taphome, they care a lot. They care a lot about let's say the price and the cost of your installation. And to bring down the cost of that installation is to get rid of the expensive stuff. For example, here is the screen. So the screen everyone, you want a screen, but the screen is too expensive in the installation. That's why we Taphome came up with this fantastic idea, which called Multizone controller. Forget about the small to fit in the back box because it's coming from the old slides. I'm sorry for that again. Anyway, this the multi-zone controller is a small screen, tiny. It's a 1-inch screen, right?
Yes, yes.
All it does just to move you from one zone to another zone and choose what you want to do. I will show you a little bit later. From one zone to another zone and choose what you want to do, raise the temperature, lower the temperature, turn on the light, turn off the light, etc. So so it has also temperature sensor input. It can connect it also to CO2 or humidity sensors, and you can select between zones. I'm gonna show it to you in picture. I think it will be much easier. This is it. It's a 1-inch screen. It has 3 buttons. Very simple, very basic. You move from one zone to another, then rise the light, turn on the light, etc. You can see example of the picture down here, and it's 100 BD, guys. It's 100 BD, like 1,000 Saudi riyal for people who's watching us from Saudi Arabia. Okay, so this is the devices, the gateways that we have. We have the Modbus gateway, we have a DMX gateway, we have a DALI gateway. So you don't need to worry about what kind of protocol you are using. We can connect to anyone. And we're gonna talk about the jury of Taphome, the interface, the most important thing of Taphome, how you program, how you work, and how your user see the interface. As you can see, I'm sorry, it's a very unique interface, very well crafted interface, very well designed. It's a very nice design, by the way, Samo. I really like the design and what you do in your application.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We're making it, the dashboard, we have a new version. I will send that to you.
Ah, so you have a beta version. I would love to see it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So here is an example of the dashboard. This is what your customers see. This is what you see, by the way. This is the installer, what he says he sees here. So it's very easy to use, and it will give you a perfect view about what's happening. So this is for the installer or for the service. And here for the admin, as you can see that some of the items has been removed, because in Taphome you have a very, very strong permission inside the application. Am I right, Samo?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the idea is that there are some functionalities in the system where integrator doesn't want to they don't want to access. The end customer shall not access some settings.
So
on the other hand, typically in smart systems, the end customer cannot change any configuration. But that's too strict, we think, because some things are simple, like weekly schedules for temperatures, on, off, presence, and stuff. So we thought that we shall make it more flexible, so that the integrator, the installation partner, can decide what kind of functionality shall be accessible to the end customer and what functionality shall not be accessible. So in our system, you can choose which automation schedules can be changed, which devices can be changed, and so on. So it's totally under control of the installation partner.
So we have 3 main users: the service, the admin, and the user. So the service user is the highest in the hierarchy, which is the installer itself. Yani this installer, let's say he have everything, he can do everything, and he can stop admin from doing things. Admin can be given to the, let's say, building master or building supervisor or whatever, and then you have the user, which can be given to the apartment users. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. So it's a user and service. That's the easy part. Service is the installation guy, like you said, and user is the It can be it can be a tenant or a guest in a hotel. And admin is something in between. Admin is, for example, the receptionist, or it can be the facility manager in an office tower. So it's a person who can add users, create users, remove users, but they cannot touch the configuration. Configuration is for installation partners. That's the service level.
That's great to hear. That's very assuring. I think everyone listening to me here, they will say, no, I don't want the user to touch my system. Don't worry. The user will not touch your system. You are the only one who can program it and work on it. So this is an example how easy it is to program Taphome. So the programming is not done by computer. It's not done by laptop. You don't need an interface between the bus and your computer. There is no USB dongle. There is nothing. All you need to do is connect the core to the local network, open your mobile, and add a new device. Am I right? You know,
yes,
Samo,
exactly.
I
so
think
that's how you get a control.
I think you have combined Internet of Things, iOS way of work with the reliability and the strong of the classic solutions. So you have merged the best. You have the merged best things between both worlds. So the easy of Internet of Things, because this kind of stuff we don't see it in classic solutions. You know, in the classic solutions you need a dongle, you need a USB interface, you need a lot of stuff. Usually it's like a Nest, you know Nest thermostat by Google. Yes. It's that easy, guys. It's that easy. So congratulations, you have successfully set up this location and you are done. So it's that easy, guys. And I'm not talking about all the installation. I'm just giving you an example how easy it is. You don't even need a training. Although I will provide a training, we'll do a training, and we'll be happy to do that. And by the way, for everyone listening to me now, if you are interested, I can send you free devices for you to test inside your offices and locations. Anyways, this is the gift I was telling you about. So here I have a project. This project, it has 2 AC control. So you need to control 2 ACs. You have 1 curtain, and you have 2 light switch, and you need a screen for your project. Let's imagine this is a room or something like this. So let's design it with Taphome. Okay, Mr. Anas said he wants some devices, and I will send it surely later. Anyways, so the devices required here is the core itself. Of course, it's 180 BD. You need 1 power supply, 14 BD. You need 2 temperature sensor. Each temperature sensor 3 BD. You don't need a thermostat, guys. In other companies, it requires a thermostat, and the thermostat alone is more than 100 BD plus. Here, all you need to do is to have a temperature sensor, and the core will do the AC logic inside the core. You don't need a temperature for that. Exactly. And then you have a multi-zone controller, the screen, 100 BD. And by the way, the multi-zone controller is a plus. You can put it and you can remove it, and you can do the whole setup without the screens. You can do it from your mobile only, and it will be cheaper. And then you need a push button. Push button, you can buy anything from the market. You can buy from VMart, from us, of course, or you can buy Legrand, Schneider, etc. And here you go. The total project of yours is a 300 BD. It's cheaper than your iPhone, if you have an iPhone. So it's amazing. It's amazing how this is done. It's amazing how you can design this. Do you want to add anything else, Samo?
I would just add regarding the pricing thing. You know, from our point of view, the system is not cheap because our number 1 competitor is not another smart building system, but it is the classic installation. So that's the pricing benchmark. We need to beat classic manual installation because that's the most spread setup in any building. and we want to penetrate all possible buildings. So this is, we're not aiming for a luxury system. We have luxury installations, that's fine, but our goal is to penetrate, for example, in an apartment project, typically smart building systems or smart home systems in apartments, they target the biggest penthouses on top of the towers, right? So of course it's nice to have those. We also want to have them and have them. The point of our system is that you can put it into every single apartment. So if you have 500 apartments, the system is suitable to be in every apartment, not just the big ones, but all of them. It's our system is about scale. And regarding pricing, the cost of electronic components, of microchips and PCBs and other stuff we use, it's going down and down. It's getting cheaper year. The price went down in recent 3 years by something like 30%. So the pricing, the point is not that we are not making money. We have our gross margin is actually very good.
Just let me.
But the setup is to.
Can I comment on this, Samo?
Yes, go ahead.
Because
go ahead.
Samo, no, your devices is not cheap, but the way you think, you make a value engineering on the system. So what I mean by that?
Yes, that's the.
Yeah, so it's a value engineering. So you save by making a universal output like your 12 do. You save by making universal output like the 24 UI. You save by making your core has 2 NTC input. This example of the project here, which is cost 300 BD, to be honest, it's not cheap because the device is cheap. It's cheap because the core unit which I use, it does everything. Because the core unit, it has an input for the thermostat, so I didn't have to add additional input. The core unit has a 4 output, which is make it for me easy to connect 2 EC, 2 light circuit to your output. It saves for me because it has 4 input, which is make it easy for me to connect push buttons. So I save, the save in the installation is not by the price of the device, it's by the number of the devices. Yes. In other project,
yes.
how many devices I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 devices from Taphome. If I want to do this in any other project, I would require at least 10 different devices.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So it's a value engineering. It's how you design. And by the way, we are not only saving in the device itself, you are saving also in the installation. When I show the guys here the interface, I focus on it and I wanted to tell them that you can program a whole project in 1 day. You don't need 1 week or 1 month to finish your project. 1 day will be enough. And most of the small stuff, that changing scenarios, making a smart rule, do this stupid stuff that usually the customer asks in the classic installation, that would require me as an installer to go personally to his house, open my computer, open the program, change what he wants. It take me a whole day to change 1 scenario. This kind of stuff, it can be done by the customer himself, if I gave him some kind of permission to do that.
Yes, yes.
So this is what make it easy. So guys, I'm ready to receive. Okay, so Mr. Abdulkarim, he's asking if we have a case study. Of course, I can prepare a presentation for that later on, and I will do a case study. But this project, I think it's let's say it's a very small case study. Anyways. Any question, guys? You can unmute yourself and talk to us if you want. Let me ask you one by one. So, Mr. Ahmed Horani, how did you like the stuff? How did you like the system? Tell me about it. How did you like our presentation? This way you can make sure, Samo, that they are listening. They didn't turn on the computer and left, So Ahmed, he said yes, so he's listening. Thank you, Ahmed, that you like it. What about Mr. Faisal Khaldi? Mr. Faisal Khaldi is one of the important people for me here. How do you like the system, Mr. Faisal? Your opinion is very important for me, and what do you think of the presentation?
Hello.
Hello, Faisal.
Yes, my friend. First of all, I really appreciate invitation. One important aspect. I'm not sure if we can connect or integrate uh, Tap Home protocol into other systems. Meaning, if I can have Tap Home products integrated into another IoT platform.
Yes. One thing which was not mentioned in this presentation, we are making a KNX gateway. We have a prototype already for KNX gateway. So we've in some projects you need to combine some KNX backbone and have some local control in some other system. And for that reason, we have not just the Modbus, as mentioned before, and MBus and that stuff, but also KNX. For the Middle East region, KNX is the ultimate solution, the KNX IP for larger installations. What we see in Europe besides KNX, it's also BACnet. BACnet protocol is missing at the moment in our portfolio, and in the projects where it is required, we use a intermediary software platform between our system and the BACnet backbone of the building management system. So BACnet is planned; it's not available at the moment, and KNX is coming in. By the end of this year, it's a matter of weeks. Actually, we have the prototype already. Regarding when you asked about the data integration, when we speak about big data analysis, gathering data, when it goes to the so-called Internet of Things, yeah, that we had two projects where the customer wanted, it was a government agency, and they wanted to collect data from all schools, from all petrol stations, and use cases like that. Thanks to our cloud backend, we can do that. Then the installation, you need to have some local controller, let's say in each school, and then you need to have a cloud backend. But the important thing is that these projects, they typically come from government agencies. They are huge scale, and you cannot have just any cloud like we use Microsoft Azure cloud backend. That's not acceptable. They need to have their own private system, their own private cloud, which is gathering the data. And our system, it is possible to do. It is a project. It is not that you can something do out of the box, but it is possible that our software is written in C#, and that C# cloud software you can deploy on a local machine running Microsoft Server system. So that's the trick, So you can have a private cloud, basically. That's the point. Because a typical IoT.
Excellent. Can I convert or can I divert the data flow from Taphome cloud from Taphome core into a different cloud? Let's say I want to direct all communication, all data flow, going into a different cloud, so I can make use of these data.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the point. That in case it is not acceptable that you would store your data in Microsoft Azure cloud, which is used by us, then we can deploy the system into your own cloud server. That's possible, but that's a project. It's that's not so super simple in few clicks or something. But we can do that.
No, I'm talking about existing IoT cloud, different than Taphome. Different IoT cloud.
Yes, I know, I understand. Yes, yeah, I know what you mean. You mean that the core will not be sending data to our cloud, but to your cloud.
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
And do you use REST or MQTT in this?
That's a big question. I don't know. I would need to check. I cannot tell you.
Okay.
The only thing I can tell you is that thanks to that programming language or C#, it's running on Microsoft technology, and typically Microsoft Server is being used as a local server. So that's the trick. Yeah. So though we don't need to rewrite the whole code, and we don't need to translate it into something else. But I don't know the.
It's a very interesting conversation to hear, guys.
I'm I'm done with questions. I don't have any more.
No, it's very interesting. I'm enjoying this, by the way. How was the presentation, Faisal?
Excellent, amazing, actually, informative, and I see really good potential, especially for individual units and homes, small offices. This would make more sense, easy to deploy, easy to configure, and has a really intuitive customer interface, user interface.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. If you have any other question, Mr. Anas, Mr. Mahmoud, I'm ready to answer. Otherwise, I would leave you now, and we'll talk later. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining the presentation. It was great. Have a good day.
And I'd love to keep it at 10 o'clock because I said 1 hour, it has to be 1 hour, you know? So talk to you all guys later on. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.